South Africa and Wales, folks, 32 points to 29. This was a proper nail-biter. Forgive me, it's a little bit delayed. I've just gone back and watched this morning here in New Zealand. It was a 3 o'clock in the morning game for me in NZ. But, just watched it delayed. And, we're going to go through some key events and some stats. And you guys can let me know your thoughts, man. How good was it to see Loftus packed out with some good weather? It was phenomenal. We've seen a really great weekend. Eden Park was packed out. Perth had a really good crowd. Even like Fiji and Argentina, good crowds. Loftus was certainly no different. Although they were kind of silenced early, I thought, because the South Africans did not start this game sharply. Dropped a couple of high balls, missed the line out, which ends up getting turned over, which leads to some Wales wide ball, and Rees-Zammit on 3 minutes gets the first try of the game. Missed conversion, which given the scoreline, a wee bit costly. Credit to Will Rowlands for disrupting the South African line out, but a good way to get yourselves into the game, Wales. Like, it's hard enough to go to South Africa as a team that's never won over there before. But if you're going to start a game, that's the way to do it. Take the crowd out of it as much as you can. Wiese gets penalised for a no-arms tackle. And, Wales are kind of in the ascendancy, although they have their own line-out stolen inside South Africa's 22, which kind of, stops the momentum a wee bit. Elton Jantjies, his first kick shanks off the side of his boot, which unfortunately for him is maybe a sign of things to come, because he has one of those days where things don't really go his way that well. Dan Bigger ends up kicking a drop goal. Take the 3, get yourselves more than a score in front. That was on about 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I forget the actual time. But Wales did well to get some points out of that early pressure. And South Africa certainly, as I said, not sharp in the early periods of the game. And there was a interesting one, because remember, Wiese has been penalised for a no-arms tackle earlier on. Lydiate kind of did one on Malherbe later that didn't get pinged. To me, they were kind of comparable tackles. But one gets pinged and one doesn't. And I actually thought the first couple of Welsh line-out throws were a little bit crooked, and the ref didn't ping it. And I thought, maybe the ref's going to let Wales get away with some stuff today. But no. As the game plays out, certainly not. I'm sure some Welsh fans will be less than thrilled with the final penalty count and the amount of cards they get issued in this game. But anyway, the Springboks scrum starts to get on top. Maybe in response to Malherbe getting hammered. Nché, his buddy, helps win him a penalty at scrum time. And Elton has a shot to get South Africa on the board, but it hits the post. His kicking boots, they need a bit of polishing. I feel for Elton sometimes, because, as I've said many times, I like that guy a lot at Super Rugby level when he's playing. At that level with a team that seems to suit him better. He plays really well, but again, he goes off at halftime. I don't know if he picked up an injury or if it was tactical. My first reaction is it's probably tactical, but I will be happy to be corrected if that's not the case. But certainly there were some missed opportunities. From him in that first half of the game. That being said, he did kick the first shot of the game. Well, he did get his first one on 16 minutes. Wales not releasing. South Africa on the board, 8-3. Wales answer with a penalty. I think that was Lood with a tackle off the ball. 11-3. South Africa get a penalty at the breakdown and return. Out, and Jantjies kicks that one wide. It's kind of a very kickable one. And in the games like this, that can be costly. It doesn't end up being costly, but that's kind of a fortunate one in retrospect. If South Africa had lost this one, you'd look back at these missed kicks and be going, you could have won the game if you'd had those kicks. Doesn't end up mattering, but you know what I mean. Weirdly, though, South Africa were kind of letting Wales have some free ball at line-out time. Like, Lood is one of the best defensive line-out operators in the game, but they weren't lifting him often in the first half. They were letting Wales have some free ball, which I found bizarre, personally. When you've got a weapon like Lood, I think you might as well use him. But anyway, Wales are offside on 25 minutes. Elton Jantjies kicks the ball dead. Wales get free kicked for not feeding the ball at the scrum, because the ref says you should have put it in. The scrum was ready to go and you didn't. And Hardy gets marched 10 metres for not giving the South African guys the ball. So it's all on, man. It's handbags. There's some real tension in this. Wales are leading. The South African guys, as I mentioned, maybe not quite firing on all cylinders just yet. And for some reason, these sides just don't seem to like each other that much. I don't know what the bad blood is between Wales and South Africa, but there certainly seems to be a wee bit of it. But Wales get their second try, man, 32 minutes. And it's another line-out issue. This time it is a Welsh line-out rather than a South African one. Long ball, and our man Elton, to his credit, actually read the line-out. He knew it was, once he saw it going long, he shot up to disrupt, I think it was Tompkins. But, he kind of fumbled it. And then from that loose ball, it gets hacked through. And Rees-Zammit is just able to pounce. Like, you're not going to catch that guy, man. So, suddenly, it's 18 points to 3. Wales have got a remarkable lead. And it does get a bit bad for them when Bigger gets yellow carded for not releasing on Klerk right before the break. But Wales' maul defence kind of bails Dan Bigger out. South Africa not opting for the threes, going for that ball. Wales hold them out. They turn the ball over, go into the sheds, 18-3 halftime lead. Not bad. Not bad. Like I mentioned, Elton doesn't come on in the second half. Wales is still a man down. Willemse has got a chance to kick for touch. He misses it, so it's not just him making mistakes. Liam Williams has got a chance to kick for touch for Wales. He misses it, so there's mistakes all round. It's not just any one person. But again, man, like 46 minutes this time, South Africa is, I think it's 44 minutes they've got a chance to maul. And then they get advantage from that maul, kick out again, maul again. And finally, their maul gets some pay. And Mbonambi is able to go over. And Willemse kicks a pretty good conversion. Yellow card is over after that. But it's 18-10, so it's still 2-score game. But South Africa is on the ball with a try at home. So the crowd starting to kind of build back into things, eh? And then they get another one. This time it's Marx. And to be fair, Tom Francis has gone off before this because he's just come on to kind of bolster that Welsh pack, which is starting to feel the crunch of the South African forwards. He's got the fresh legs to kind of, come on and help to stifle that. But he gets a knee to the head. It's accidental. He's falling. He falls into Stephen Kitshoff's knee, which is not something you want to do. And they take a long time to take him off. We obviously wish him well, but that certainly doesn't help Wales' chances. Like, you bring him on to bolster your squad, and then you're having to bring on, your starter. So the tired legs have to come back on, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, South Africa maul again. This time Malcolm Marx is able to go over. He peels off after Klerk is helping push him over. And misconversion for that one. But suddenly it's really back to being, a proper game on, 1-score game, 15 points to 18. South Africa is starting to look like they're in the ascendancy, right? But that being said, Wales answer pretty much immediately with a penalty. So good kind of momentum stopper from Wales to keep the game alive from their point of view, 21-15. Klerk has a couple of kicking errors, to be fair. And then Wales, when they finally got an attacking maul, goes into touch. So both sides, again, will be looking at these kind of first game issues that's maybe lacking a little bit of cohesion. And then 62 minutes, Dan Bigger makes it a 2-score game with another penalty. So 24 points to 15. 24-15, I'm starting to think, man, Wales might do this. And this is not because I'm wearing a Welsh jersey on the inside. That's actually just a red t-shirt, by the way. But I was thinking, man, 24-10, South Africa, if their forwards get on top, are going to come back into it. But it's not. It's the backs. Cheslin Kolbe, who I swear is South Africa's favourite player. The crowd got behind him like nobody else. When they finally kind of get the ball wide, they're going kind of, coast to coast, east to west. And to be fair, it's actually all from South Africa changing things up a bit. That when they've got a maul, they don't just keep mauling it. They got Quacker Smith to peel off, which was pleasing to see. Because you become predictable if you're just doing the same. But they got Quacker to peel off, getting well over the advantage line. Good go forward ball, going left, going right. And eventually Allende puts a kick through for Kolbe. He's able to go over for a try. And suddenly it's 22 points to 24. 2-point game. And Alan Wynne-Jones gets yellow carded for basically copping the collective penalties from the team. He's the guy who gets pinged for it. So from here, it's all South Africa, isn't it? I mean, LaRue, like I mentioned, he's running the show from first receiver. He goes close himself. Rees-Zammit has to put in a try-saving tackle, which seems like a very good moment. And I'm sure Welsh fans would argue he had rights to to go for a turnover. South African fans would say he didn't release. The ref says he didn't release. So he gets yellow carded for stifling a South African attack. So it's 15 v 13. South Africa, guess what? It's a maul, and it's pretty much the whole team, man. Half the backs getting there, 24 points to 29. And guess what? Because the collapse maul penalty try, it's a yellow card. So 15 on 12. Welsh fans will be pulling their hair out at that one. But, speaking of pulling their hair out, South Africa somehow, with 3 extra guys, muck the restart, concede a penalty, and Wales are able to get themselves back into the game. You've only got 12 men on the field. They still opt to go for touch, because 3 points is no good at this point in the game. Alan Wynne does come back on, so it's 13 against 15. And who would have thought? Like, who's really thinking Wales are going to score a maul try here? Like 13-man Wales is going to score a maul try against the Springboks. No chance, right? But Dewi Lake, man, he's a unit. He peels off. He goes over. 29 points to 29 because Dan misses the conversion, which is pretty unfortunate. He's been kicking relatively well. He missed the first conversion. He misses the last conversion. So on another day, there's another 4 points on that board, but not to be. But at least they tie it up. But Dan is back involved again on 80 minutes when he gets yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. And from there, the South Africans are able... No, he doesn't get yellow carded. He gets penalised. Sorry, there's so many yellow cards. He gets penalised for a deliberate knock-on. And Willemse with the clutch penalty to win it at the death. 32 points to 29. So goodness gracious, folks, it goes right down to the death. It's way closer than the bookies thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. I put a cheeky $5 on the Welsh with a 19-point head start because they thought the Welsh were going to get done. So I made a couple of dollars out of that one. Not complaining. Run meters finished 480 to 216 in South Africa's favour. South Africa's got more possession, 57%, more territory, 60%, more clean breaks, 6-3, but also more turnovers conceded, 13-4. So, yeah, kind of far from clinical, I think you'd have to say. Wales did pretty well with what ball they had. They had to make 145 tackles to 81. They conceded 15 penalties to 7, so more than double. So, really feeling the pinch. You could say it's the ill discipline. The yellow cards, man, absolutely brutal. But, it's a South African win at the death. Individuals, man. Willemse, 127 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten. Not a bad shift. Him and kind of LaRue, man, working in tandem to run the show after Elton went off. To Jager, 12 from 12 tackles. Wiese, 6 defenders beaten, 57 meters, 20 carries. That guy is busy. For Wales, Rees-Zammit, obviously 2 tries, 75 meters, 2 clean breaks and a defender beaten. Not a bad shift. His yellow card's unfortunate. Rollins, along with that line-out steal or disruption, 16 from 17 tackles. Faletau, 37 meters, beats a couple of defenders, 11 from 11 tackles from him. Rafael made a few tackles. Yeah, man. Wales and South Africa always seem to have close games. And this one is no exception. So, yeah, the series is going to be an interesting one. Wales got pretty bloody close, but just couldn't quite get it done. South Africa... I think fans will be a little bit frustrated with some of their performance in the first half. And I guess you'll still be pretty pleased with the way they came back if you're a South African fan. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm about to go watch France in Japan, which I've only seen about half of. There's too much rugby on, folks. Catching up. You guys let me know your thoughts. And yes, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.